Hello everybody, I'm so excited and so grateful to be doing Free Coaching Friday. Thank you to everyone who wrote in, who shared their challenges, triumphs, tribulations and emotions and tough stuff with me. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Thank you for trusting me with it, and thank you for reaching out to me. The reason why I'm doing this is because Bach Flower Remedies are phenomenally useful. They are safe, they're accessible, they're easy, and they really do work. What I'd like to do is, it's my passion. I believe paying your passion forward and helping others serves everyone down the end. Because if I can do a video for Anne today and do a video for Barbara next week and for Ben the week after, then whoever watches these videos is going to be hearing scenarios that are similar to themselves. They're going to go, oh my God, yes, my mother-in-law does exactly that to me. I'm going to listen to this video. And then you're going to hear about the remedy that goes with it. It's going to help you change your thoughts. It's going to help you understand your emotions. And then you're going to drink your remedy. And then your relationship with your mother-in-law, thanks to just hearing Sue talk about, Barbara's experience, will be changed. And then we're bringing more love and light to the planet, and we're bringing more understanding and more compassion. And it's all good. So please share, like, subscribe on my website so that I can be in contact with you and let you know when your remedies are going to be put on Instagram. But today, let's get to it. Today I'm going to be answering Anne's question. Now, Anne obviously isn't her real name because I promised everyone I would keep them confidential. But the scenario that she's painted for me, I'm going to describe it, and I'm going to describe the remedies. So everyone listen in, but I'm going to speak to Anne because this is her situation. So Anne, thank you very much for sharing your information with me. And to break it all down, what you explained to me is that a big part of what you're experiencing at the moment is anger. Typically when, for example, your daughter pushes boundaries too much, she wears you down, she asks over and over until she's beat you, and then you get angry because she did that. So as a parent, we really struggle with this because no humans like to say no to others because they don't want to let them down. We don't want them to feel like we don't love them. On the other side of that also is we are afraid that if we say no to someone, then they might not love us because our worth maybe rests on us doing what they want them to do. So Century is a remedy that's helpful for this. Century relates to setting boundaries. Century helps you to know where you begin and end. So it reminds you that just because I say no doesn't mean I don't love you. It means that I'm not capable, for whatever reason, of doing more than this. This is my boundary and that's what I can do. It also helps prevent the experience of the anger, because once your boundary is overstepped and let's paint the picture like this. Your daughter comes in, she says, for example, I want to go to the movies. No, I can't, I've got a headache. Yeah, but I want to go to the movies. Please take me. No, I've really got a headache. I don't want to drive. Oh, but please take me. Fine, I'll take you, but I've got a headache. Explosion. Boom. Anger response because of the fact that the boundaries weren't respected by your daughter, but also anger at yourself because I don't want to take her, but I'm afraid that if I say no, she's not going to love me. And I'm afraid that if I say no, she's going to think I don't love her. But I'm angry because I don't want to drive because I've got a headache. So backtrack that. If with the Century remedy helps us to establish that boundary, so that we say, for example, how can I say this nicer? We know where our boundary is, we stick to it, and it's always fair and it's always lovingly said. Now those are key words around Century remedy. Century remedy doesn't mean to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Century remedy helps us to be loving. It helps us to be less fearful of the not being loved and express love by knowing what our boundaries are, so that people know what parameters our relationship functions in. So your daughter will know, for example, next time, I'm sorry, I've got a headache. I'm not going to take you because I can't drive and I don't want to drive and I don't want to get angry if you keep asking me. Oh, okay, Mum, cool. Didn't realize you've got a headache. No worries. Once that boundary has been established, it's much easier to carry it out. But the energy of that boundary, that where the Century helps, is that it helps us within our emotional state. If, when you're having that conversation, you don't have the thoughts going through your head of, I don't want her to think I don't love her, your fear. I don't want her to not love me, your fear. If you think, no, she knows that I love her, me saying yes or no in this scenario is not an expression of my love. My love is an expression of my love. And me being able to be solid in my core and say, that's not going to work for me, or whatever the words are, knows that when I say no, she will know that that's not because I do or don't love her. It's because that's what I'm able or not able to do. So the sensory remedies are useful in setting boundaries so that we don't feel anger, we don't feel walked over, we don't feel resentful, but also so that the people around us don't suffer from that anger or suffer from the experience of us not maintaining our boundaries. So there's actually a really loving, peaceful scenario that comes from those boundaries that work both ways. Another scenario that you described to me is a trauma. So I'm sorry for your experience with that, Anne. And suffice to say that this isn't the first time I've heard of that sort of thing. So I've got a few remedies that you may be able to work with that will be helpful to it. So what you described in relation to your trauma is being stuck in the past, not being able to let go of it. Honeysuckle is the remedy that's really helpful. It doesn't change the past. It helps us to shift into a more current energy with it. Somehow, the way that the remedy works, it just helps you to think about it one day and feel really entrenched in the horrible experience of it. But then another day, working with the remedies helps to lift your emotions and helps to lift your thoughts and your mindset to it somehow not having this huge hold over you, and you're able to move forward into working on your future rather than being stuck in the past. Another one that's really useful is Star of Bethlehem for shock, trauma and grief. So anyone who's gone through a previous experience of a trauma will still carry a certain level of shock in them. And when I say the way these remedies work, any of these remedies, I'm not suggesting that it's this magical overnight thing. We all have things going on. We all have experiences going on around us that will impact on it. But the core basis of what the remedies will help with is that emotion that you're feeling at the time. So if you've had a previous trauma, there's going to be shock still in the system, in your mind, in, oh my God, that happened. How do I let go of it? So along with the honeysuckle, the Star of Bethlehem helps us with shock, trauma, grief. There's a grief of losing a side of yourself. There's a grief of having gone through it. There's this experience of, I didn't like that and I don't want to experience that again. The Star of Bethlehem softens that and helps us to move into a different space of emotion around it. Another remedy that's useful is in Vervain. Usually when there's trauma, then we feel really incensed by the fact that there was an injustice. If we think that shouldn't have happened to me, that wasn't fair, it wasn't right, why did it happen to me? This is really making me upset that all of this happened. Vervain is the remedy that's for feeling very, very passionate about something, but it's when that passion is overbalanced, for want of better words, then it makes us feel uncomfortable. So when we've got a huge emotional connection to a trauma, something that happened to us, it's really upsetting that I went through this. It wasn't right. It wasn't fair. This shouldn't have happened. Why did this happen? Oh, now I've got all this icky feeling around me. Vervain helps to ease that by bringing a level of acceptance and peace and calm to it in a really, really gentle manner that you almost don't notice. You kind of might think of the scenario again, but the injustice doesn't trigger you as much. So Vervain is the remedy that's useful for injustice and anger related to injustice, or self-pity related to injustice, or guilt related to injustice. Another one that is useful in your scenario is water violet. So what you explained to me, Anne, is that sometimes you withdraw from other people, and yet you feel very lonely. So why this remedy is helpful, this remedy is water violet, is because quite often the more lonely we feel, the more we feel the need to isolate ourselves, the more we actually need others around us. Now, water violet, how we might be, what you've explained about how you're experiencing it, you don't feel safe around others, you don't want to be vulnerable, so you just retract and you go be on your own or with your family only, but then you realize that actually you're really lonely with that. What Waterviolet helps is to help you reach out to others in a balanced way. So you'll find that there are going to be days when the past trauma or whatever the situation might be that's brought this about, on a day to be feeling like you need to isolate, you'll find that you'll be able to balance the energy much easier of withdrawing, recovering your energy, and then knowing when to reach out so that it doesn't reach a point of loneliness. So that reaching out to other people doesn't become something that you almost don't even know how to do. So Waterviolet is a beautiful little remedy where it's standing in the water all on its own. It's very isolated, but it's got so many lovely little flowers around it. So it reminds us that when we surround ourselves with others and the right people who are part of our group, our family, our friends, our tribe, then we actually feel better with and don't feel the need to isolate. We can choose the extent to which we expend our energy, or socially expend our energy. So I hope that's been helpful to you, Anne. Anyone who has experienced these things, we all know that emotions are difficult and challenging, and that it just helps to talk to someone about them. So the gift is here, the offer is here. I would like for as many people to benefit from this, help each other, help others, help relationships be easier and simpler. Reach out to me, DM me, tell me what your scenario is that you'd like me to chat about, and I will speak about it on Free Coaching Friday. Have a lovely day and thank you for listening. Bye.